Morning, Miss.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning. Fine, Fernando. Good morning, sweetie. How are you guys?
Great, Miss. Thanks for asking.
Oh, excellent. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, we have more students joining in. Let's just give them a minute. I'm going to turn on my camera in a second. Just hold on. Okay, here we are. Fine, Sarah. Thank you. How are you, Angel? I hope you're doing fine. Oh, excellent, Sarah. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, respetando. Good morning, Rosita. Y premiando a los que han venido tempranito, vamos a dejar a los demás que entren más tarde, bajándoles un puntito por venir tarde, pero iniciando con los que ya estamos aquí. ¿Qué le parece? Okay, let's see here. Veamos, un momento, veamos. Dos cositas. Ok. Ok, mis corazones, estamos con Proverbios 2. Vamos a orar para iniciar. Naomi, ¿me ayuda, por favor, Naomi, para orar, mi amor? Naomi. ¿Estamos por ahí, Naomi, o no estamos? ¿No estamos? Ok, veamos entonces, ayúdenme a orar. René Roque, ¿me puedes ayudar orando, René? René. René. ¿Estamos por ahí, René? ¿No estamos, René?
Miss, si usted quiere, le puede ayudar.
Gracias, Fernanda. Preciosa. Oremos,
Ok.
Fernanda.
Ok, cierren sus ojitos, por favor. Bueno, Señor, gracias por un nuevo día, gracias por permitirnos volver a ver los ojos, Señor, gracias por todas las bendiciones que nos da diariamente. Bendice a cada una de las familias representadas por mis compañeros, bendice a la familia de Misani, que se encuentre en las mejores condiciones, que si tiene algún problema, pues ayúdalo, Señor, a que lo resuelvan de la mejor manera. Ayúdanos que esta clase sea muy linda y que podamos entender y aprender sobre lo que la MIS nos quiere enseñar. En el nombre de Jesús, bendecimos este día. Amén y amén.
Amén. Gracias, Fernanda. Te agradezco mucho. Gracias. Ok, let's see. Vamos a ver. Estamos con Proverbios 2. Y miren, chicos, necesito hoy que tengan su Biblia a la mano. Necesito que abra su Biblia en Proverbios 2, que esté al pendiente para que, según yo diga su nombre, usted me ayude con la primera parte de el devocional de hoy. Vamos a seguir en los siguientes devocionales viendo poco a poco este tema, ¿verdad? De Proverbios 2 que se llama El camino de la sabiduría. Vamos a caminar juntos por ese camino tan bonito para ver de qué manera podemos nosotros realmente alcanzar la sabiduría y todo lo que es relacionado con la sabiduría y que tiene que ver en nuestra vida también. El tema se llama El camino de la sabiduría y está en Proverbios 2. Ok, hi Daniela preciosa. Así que, hi Rosita, Cindy. Así que necesito que abran sus Biblias, ¿sí? Para que estemos listos por si nos toca leer. Ok. Hemos platicado, hello Ale, good morning, Ale González. Hemos platicado de muchas cosas sobre la sabiduría. Hemos hablado de que el principio de la sabiduría es el temor al Señor. Hemos hablado que la sabiduría debemos de pedirla, que solo Dios nos la puede dar. Hemos hablado de la diferencia entre la inteligencia y la sabiduría, ¿verdad? Y hemos incluso tratado los beneficios que nos da tener sabiduría. Vamos entonces juntos a recorrer un camino, a donde vamos a conocer todavía más sobre este tema que es la sabiduría. Así que Proverbios 2, chicos. Primera pregunta o primer tema a desarrollar, ¿cómo hallar la sabiduría? Proverbios 2 nos muestra paso a paso todas estas cosas que vamos a discutir a lo largo de todos nuestros devocionales. Miren, en Proverbios 2 nos muestra cómo hallar la sabiduría. Nos muestra obteniendo la sabiduría, nos está diciendo, nos va a hablar sobre este tema. Nos da los beneficios de la sabiduría y nos habla sobre nuestro destino. ¿Sí? Todo esto es, le estoy en este tema de camino de la sabiduría como desglosando realmente todo lo que nos da Proverbios 2. Y vamos a hallar la manera siempre de aplicarlo a nuestra vida. Y espero que según usted aprenda el valor de la sabiduría, la anhele con todo su corazón. Realmente la busque, la anhele, se dé cuenta la gran importancia que tiene. Sí, la gran importancia que tiene la sabiduría, todo lo que puede hacer en nuestra vida. Y así la anhelemos fervientemente. Vamos a ver cómo hallar la sabiduría, es el primer tema a desarrollar el día de hoy y está en Proverbios 2 en los primeros versículos. Así que veamos qué dice en el número 1, cómo hallar la sabiduría. Romeo, veamos Romeo número 1, ¿qué dice?
Escuchar.
Escuchar. Búsqueme el versículo del 1 al 2, por favor, y me lo lee.
Ok. Hijo mío, si recibieres mis palabras y mis mandamientos guardares dentro de ti, haciendo estar atento tu oído a la sabiduría, sin inclinar tu corazón a la prudencia.
Excelente. Mire el versículo del 1 al 2. Nos habla que cómo podemos hallar la sabiduría. Mire qué bonito inicia. ¿Cómo la podemos hallar? Escuchando. ¿Escuchando el qué? Las palabras del Señor, la palabra de Dios. Dice, si recibieres mis palabras, tenemos que escuchar, poner atención a la palabra de Dios. Cuando escuchamos a nuestro pastor hablándonos de qué es lo que Dios tiene para nosotros en nuestros cultos, escuchar la palabra de Dios. Primera clave para poder encontrar la sabiduría. Escuchar. Recibir las palabras y los mandamientos, dice el versículo 1 y 2. Atento tu oído a la sabiduría, aprender a escuchar. Cuando nos dan buenos consejos, lo hemos platicado también, sí, que debemos de poner atención a los consejos, pero no los consejos de cualquiera, sino los consejos de aquellos que sabemos que nos aman. Pues si nos aman, darán las mejores soluciones o los mejores consejos, porque quieren lo mejor para nosotros. Escuchar, dice primeramente. ¿Cómo hallar la sabiduría? Número 1, escuchar. Vamos a ver, número 2, ¿qué más debemos de hacer? Olivia, ¿me ayuda leyendo? ¿Qué más debemos de hacer? Número 2, Olivia. Olivia, ¿estamos por ahí, Olivia?
Sí, Miss, ¿qué versículo?
No estamos poniendo atención, Olivia.
Perdón, es que estaba mi hermano aquí, no pude escuchar.
Otra vez, nuevamente, chicos, necesito que tengan lista la Biblia con Proverbios 2. Proverbios 2, aquí está, mire, la número 2 necesito que lea. Mire, Olivia, aquí de mi presentación. ¿Cómo hallar la sabiduría? Segundo numeral.
Pedir.
Pedir. Leemos versículo 3 entonces.
Okay. Y Jehová dijo a Satanás, ¿no has considerado a mi siervo Job que no hay...
Proverbios 2. Proverbios 2.
Sí, perdón, se me movió.
Versículo 3, ¿verdad, Miss?
Versículo 3, sí, Mariana. Sí. ¿Lo tenemos, Olivia?
Sí. Haciendo, no. Si clamares a la inteligencia, a la prudencia dieres tu voz.
Ok, excellent. Thank you. Pedir. Si clamares, clamar. Si queremos algo, lo pedimos, ¿no, chicos? Cuando usted quiere dinero, quiere salir, quiere comprar ropa, quiere algo rico de comer, usted se lo pide a sus papás. Usted llega hasta con el clásico, ¿verdad? Porque más que nada las hembritas. Papito, y lo abraza y le da besitos. Qué lindo eres. Y ya vienen los papás que ya los conocemos también y les decimos, ¿qué querés? ¿Y ahora qué querés? ¿Verdad? Pedir, clamarle al Señor, hablar con Dios y pedir esa sabiduría. Así como nos esforzamos y pedimos algo rico de comer, una ropa preciosa que hemos visto, o un permiso para salir con nuestros amigos, de la misma manera vamos a pedir con nuestro corazón que el Señor nos provea de sabiduría. Primer paso para hallar la sabiduría, escuchar. Segundo paso para hallar la sabiduría, pedir o clamar. Y tercer paso, Marianita preciosa, ¿me ayudas, Mariana? Número 3.
Escuadriñar.
Ok, leemos versículo 4.
Si como la palabra buscares
Y como la plata, mi amor.
y como la escudriñares como a tesoros.
Ok, gracias. Oiga, si como a la plata la buscaras, buscar es el qué? La sabiduría. Hay que escudriñar. Escudriñar significa buscar a fondo. Mover las cosas para ir buscando. No está aquí, entonces muevo este otro lugar. No está aquí, entonces busco profundo. No está aquí, entonces voy a ver en tal lugar. Escudriñar. No es lo mismo que buscar. ¿Verdad? Como cuando a veces nuestros papás nos dicen, mira, anda, a veces en mi cuarto encontrás mi cartera, que ahí está. Y ustedes suben a la carrera y este es el clásico porque nos pasa a todos. Llegamos y solo damos una miradita por encima. Mamá no está, pero solo buscó, solo vio por encima, pero no a profundidad. No llegó y movió las cosas, movió esto, movió la ropita que estaba en la cama, movió eso para buscar realmente. Cuando queremos encontrar sabiduría, chicos, no podemos solo dar una miradita a lo que hay. No solo una media escuchadita, no solo una media leidita a la Biblia. Debemos escudriñar, buscar a fondo. Mire, es increíble, pero en la Biblia encontramos la solución a prácticamente todos nuestros problemas. Tantas preguntas que nos hacemos y ahí en la palabra de Dios están las respuestas. Ahí está. Escudriñar, buscar a fondo. Así que para terminar, porque hoy solo vamos a tratar el literal A y en la próxima clase el B y así hasta que terminemos el camino de la sabiduría y logremos valorar y entender cuánto necesitamos de esa sabiduría de Dios. Así que para terminar hoy, recordemos cómo vamos a hallar la sabiduría. Número 1, vamos a escuchar la palabra de Dios, la palabra de nuestros pastores, los consejos que nos dan, los buenos consejos que nos dan, ¿sí? La guía, las buenas guías que nos dan. Número 2, vamos a pedir, vamos a clamar, vamos a hablar con Dios y le vamos a decir cuánto deseamos, necesitamos y queremos de su sabiduría. Vamos a pedir como hijos de Dios que somos. Y finalmente vamos a escudriñar, vamos a buscar a fondo. Así es como la vamos a encontrar. Vamos a escudriñar la palabra de Dios. Sí, en medio de nuestras oraciones vamos a hablar de esa palabra de Dios. Vamos a escudriñarla hasta sacarle los significados y los propósitos que Dios le da a la palabra para nuestra vida. ¿Ok? Así que recuerde, estamos trabajando en el camino de la sabiduría, ¿sí? Y vamos entonces a seguir en la próxima clase. Ok. Let's see, what do we have for today? We have in our article, we are going to talk about this character. Vamos a ver a este señor in today in reading. His name is William Shakespeare. Do you have any idea who William Shakespeare is? My babies? Someone? Who is William Shakespeare? What do you know about William Shakespeare? What do you know, Marianne, about William Shakespeare? And Fernanda?
Is one of the best writers of all the time. He writes books about life, love, revenge, grief, death, jealousy. That
Excellent. He wrote, because he already died, right? He wrote about this. Someone
Yeah,
else can give me a feedback about William Shakespeare?
He was a poet, and I think he wrote Romeo and Juliet, right? And
Excellent.
Hamlet too, I think.
Very
That's
good.
a great, like a great story. I love that one.
Yeah, I love Hamlet too. And
Macbeth, and I don't remember what else, but those three were really important.
yes, Macbeth. Wonderful book. Yes, Macbeth. He also wrote King Lear, right? And Romeo and Juliet. One characteristic that William Shakespeare had in his literature was that everything he wrote, everything he wanted to show in his plays in theaters was related to the actual situation of England. It was real. His stories were real, right? Real not because it really happened that way exactly, but because it reflected what England was going through by that time. All his plays, as you can see, if you go to a theater, because in the book, even in the book, he relates and he's going to relate or narrate what's going on in England. Poverty, diseases, many sicknesses, violence, okay? Even the way how they treat women back then. Because back then in William Shakespeare's time, women were not allowed to go to school. They were not allowed to learn to read or write. They couldn't even become actresses. They couldn't work in the theaters either. There were no women in those theaters. They were not allowed to play any role in a theater play. They were not allowed to do that. So in his writings, he will always describe that a certain parts of England's situation back then. How were people living back then? The laws back then. How women was mistreated. How kids died on the streets. Even he will reflect the way how the crown will live, also the nobles, right? Like in Hamlet and Macbeth, we could see several details that could really make you think that royals were the worst. They were having a horrible life, right? When you read his books. So he will always try to narrate England's situation back then, okay? And how the people from England live, how they used to live back then. Okay, let's have a look. Let's pay attention to this very short biography of William Shakespeare so we can learn more about this famous character.
Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England, on April 23, 1564. His father was a successful local businessman, and his mother was the daughter of a landowner. In 1582, William, aged only 18, married an older woman named Anne Hathaway. They had 3 children. After that, there are no records of the next few years of his life. Historians often refer to these years of Shakespeare's life as the lost years. What is certain is that Shakespeare and his family ended up in London, where he was working at the theater. William was part of an acting company called Lord Chamberlain's Men, where he wrote and played as an actor. His plays became very popular in London, and soon the Lord Chamberlain's Men were amongst the most popular acting companies in the city. Some of Shakespeare's early plays include The Taming of the Shrew, Richard III, Romeo and Juliet, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. Most of these plays were performed at the Globe Theatre, which quickly became incredibly popular. Regardless of the success of these plays, most of Shakespeare's greatest work was written in his late years, when he wrote masterpieces like Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth. Shakespeare retired and settled in Stratford, where he died in 1616. William Shakespeare, often called the English national poet, is widely considered the greatest dramatist of all time.
And he surely was the greatest dramatist of all time. Okay, let's move to our article. Let's see over here. Here I have it. Here it is. Okay, the unit is called Shakespeare, Where Are You Now? This is a play, right? This is the name of a play that is called Shakespeare, Where Are You Now? Okay, so let's read. Here we have our vocabulary preview. Let's see if we can complete this vocabulary. We have the words, we have the meanings. So before we start reading, let's try to complete our exercise of vocabulary preview. You can click on my presentation. So please help me, right? Help me. Help me do it. Let's.
The first one, this all but survive in the fire in the library, is letter F, lived or last through a time.
Excellent, Daniela. Who's going to help me? Click. Letter F, please. Excellent. Thank you, Romeo. Okay. Excellent, Daniela. Good job. Survive is the same thing as to say live or lasted through a time. For a long time, it lived, so it survived, right? William Shakespeare plays have survived through time, and they have become more powerful, right? People are reading his work, his books, and movies have been made, and even in England and Europe, these stories are still played in theaters. So it has survived. Number 2, let's see who can help me with number 2. It says, excellent, Romeo. Let's see if it's true. Do you agree, guys? I like to watch that actress's movies. She always performs well. So the meaning for performs, very good, excellent. Now I read them, Romeo. That's it. Acts, sings, or dances. That is perform. Very good job. Okay, Olivia, thank you for sending me Rosita's message. Thank you. Okay, Ale Gonzalez, read for me number 3, please. Ale?
Nobody uses the building. The city wants to destroy it and build something new.
Okay, the meaning of destroy, Ale? A, B, C, D, E, F. The meaning for destroy, Ale? Letter? Ya no contestó, Ale. Does someone has the... Yes.
Yeah, I think it's tear down, get rid of completely.
Excellent, very good. Very good, Olivia, good job. Excellent, Daniela Fernanda, very good. It says letter B, tear down, get rid of completely. That is destroyed, very good. Let's see, Fernanda, help me with number 4, please.
Sure, Mayor. Some parents did not approve of the play because the actor kissed.
Okay, meaning for approve.
Probably have a good opinion about it.
Excellent, thank you, Romeo, very good, that's it. Approve, have a good opinion about it. So it says that they did not approve. That means that they didn't have a good opinion. Remember that back then, times were so different, right? That they didn't like to see those kind of things like kissing in the streets, right? Nor kissing in the theaters. Theaters were like open for public from a very bad reputation and poor people, right? Poor people. And so those plays were related to sex, to drugs, addictions, to were related to poverty, right? And violence. That's why novelty, they didn't like to go to those theaters, right? Because they disapprove the essence of those dramas, those plays that they present in the theaters. Okay, here we have letter 5 and number 5. It says this is a great location for a theater. Location, place. The meaning is place. Letter C, very good. And number 6, we have to reserve tickets early to attend the opening night of the play. Attend, to go or to be at. Okay, that's the meaning of attend. Okay, these were some words for today. Survive, perform, destroy, approve, location, and attend. It's good for us to know the meaning of the vocabulary words, but also I invite you to practice. Okay, try to practice these vocabulary words that we learn here in reading class. Practice them, use them in as part of your daily communication with others. Practice them. Okay, here we are. Let's read. Volunteers? Do I have volunteers that would like to read? Excellent, Romeo. Very good. We begin with Romeo. Please pay attention to the order. Then Mariana, Fernanda, Olivia. I'm going to choose someone else. David Fuentes, please. Okay, and that's it. We're going to finish with David Fuentes. Okay, let's begin. William Shakespeare.
Okay. Shakespeare, where are you now? William Shakespeare,
1564, we divide
okay,
the numbers.
1564, 1616.
Yes.
Wrote many plays and poems which are known the world over. But perhaps you think the word of an Elizabethan playwright are not important today. Well, think again. Shakespeare's works have survived the years and then some. For example, Romeo and Juliet has not only been performed again and again in theaters around the world, but it has also been made into a very popular movie twice.
Okay, thank you, Romeo. Just what I was telling you. Shakespeare has survived through time. his work, his plays, right? His books. They have even been made movies, right? So they had survived through time. And even nowadays, we can see them in movies. Oh, sorry, this microphone. The word Elizabethan, right? What does it mean, Elizabethan? It means in the time of Queen Elizabeth. That's why they relate them to this word, Elizabethan, because Shakespeare was born in the time of Elizabeth, of Queen Elizabeth, by those times, right? Elizabeth, the red-haired lady, right? She had a beautiful red hair. She was descendant from the Tudors lineage, right? She was son of King Henry the Sixth or the Eighth, I'm not sure, but the name of the king was Henry. Okay, so that's why they are called Elizabethan. Let's continue. Let me see. Just let me move downwards. Okay, during the late 1500s.
During the late 1500s, however, Shakespeare plays a word often performed at the
At the Globe Theatre in London.
Globe Theatre in London. The Globe has
Was a large
open air
theater.
theater than use only natural and existing because
natural lighting.
natural lighting.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. That's okay. Thank you. Okay, we go back to the first theater in London. It was called the Globe. And this theater had a very special characteristic. It was a large open air theater, right? Open air. That means that it wasn't a closed building, right? It uses only natural lighting. Imagine no electricity. And it was a big theater, really big. Okay, let's continue. Shows at the Globe.
Okay, Miss. Shows at the club use very few props, but performances were always interesting and exciting because the audience yelled, cheered, and talked with the performers. The Globe was a great success. However, in 1613, during a performance of Shakespeare's
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII, a cannon was fired on stage, setting off a fire.
Okay, thank you. Oh my God, look what happened. Okay, the shows at the Globe use very few props. Props are the things that they use to demonstrate the situation they are playing. For example, if they were playing the Life of Gentlemen, if they use things like a hat, for example, hat of a gentleman, to demonstrate that they were playing that time in history. Okay, they will use hats and umbrellas, and those are props. Okay, things that they used to perform, some extra things that they articles or objects that they used to perform. And something really sad happened, right? It was a big success, this theater, right? But suddenly in one play, during the play of Henry VIII, a cannon was fired on a stage, and they didn't. They were not. Careful. They would not take care of things that could happen because they never thought this could happen. They fired the cannon and the stage got on fire. And the theater was destroyed. This was a very sad news for the people in England because everybody loved to spend time watching those plays at the open air theater, right? But this theater was destroyed back then. Let's see then what happened. The fire
completely destroyed the theater. The glove was fixed a year later, but it did not stay open long. The theater was closed by the Puritans, who did not approve of entertainment. The glove never opened again, and the building was finally torn down in 1644.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, this was the sad news. It was destroyed. They tried to fix the theater and it opened again, but this time it didn't stay open. And they even had the disadvantage that this group called the Puritans, they didn't like these kind of plays. They thought it was too much noise, that the topics were not appropriate, right? So they fought until they stopped the people from the theater from performing. And finally, the building was torn down. It was destroyed. It was lo destruyeron, right? They torn down in 1644. Let's finish. Theater lovers. Next one. ¿Quién le tocaba? Sé que era un chico. Bueno, Daniela, terminemos, amor, please. Theater lovers in England.
Theater lovers in England never forgot the globe. In 1970, a decision was made to rebuild it as close to the original design as possible. Imagine how people felt when in 1989, those working on the new globe came across some of the original building only about 100 meters from the new theater. They were building the new theater almost in the original globe location. The new globe opened in 1999. It has since won many awards as one of the best tourist attractions in Europe. Since the new theater opened, hundreds of thousands of people have attended Shakespearean performances such as Midsummer Night's Dream, As You Like It, and Henry B. Shakespeare. Where Are You Now? At the Globe, of course.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. Okay. Finally, they rebuilt it, and now it's one of the most famous touristic places in England. And a lot of people have been able to attend to this beautiful place, right, from Shakespeare. Okay, just really fast, let me remind you, I think we have, let me see, we have an, yes, we have activity. Por favor, aquí está. Mire, in the notebook, answer in detail the question. Investigate. Por favor, investiguen, no me inventen. No se lo imaginen, chicos. Investiguen para resolver estas preguntas. Quiero que me escriban, no he puesto cuántas líneas, sino las suficientes para apoyar la respuesta que usted me va a dar. 3, 4, 5 líneas, no importa, con que usted tenga la información para apoyar su respuesta. We have question number 1, number 2, and number 3. Solo la número 2 es su opinión, pero quiero saber por qué. No porque no me gusta el teatro, no me gusta esto, no. Quiero razones. Okay, so be careful how you answer your questions. Los quiero, mis amores. Tengan un lindo día. Bye, bye.
Blessings.
Bye, bye, Angel.
Amén.
Bye, Angel. Bye, amores. Bye, bye. Bye, sweetie.